Hello there. My name is Will Pemberton, and I'm the owner of Pemberton Personal Injury Law Firm. Our firm is dedicated to helping individuals who have been injured in accidents, and our mission is simple: to help, counsel, and protect the injured against corporate greed. With over 20 years of experience in the field, I have witnessed countless individuals being taken advantage of by insurance companies. The stories I have heard and experienced are heart-wrenching and tragic. And it is our firm's goal to ensure that our clients are not just another statistic. From walking through the legal system to dealing with the insurance companies, I'll explain in this video how an experienced personal injury attorney can help you navigate through this entire process and help you get the compensation that you deserve. So let's begin. Who is protecting your legal rights? If you've been injured in an accident, I can assure you that the insurance company is going to start their investigation pretty much immediately upon notice that there's been an injury. And so they're going to take steps that benefit them. And so again, the question is, who's protecting your legal rights? So think about this. The insurance company gets paid money from their customers for premiums. And so how do they make money? Well, they make money by paying out less money than they take in for their premiums. So they actually make money by not paying money. So it's in their best interest financially to not pay out your claim. So the insurance company is figuring out ways to minimize those claims, and they have a long list of the reasons that they do this, or the reasons that they find to try to minimize your case. So for instance, they will contact you almost immediately after the accident to try to get a recorded statement from you. Well, why? Well, because they want you to say something that potentially hurts your case. They want to lock you down on what you're going to tell them so that they can use it in the future. They want to try to get you, if you're in an auto accident, for instance, to try to lock down that you were going too fast or you were following too close. They're going to want to go fishing through your medical records. They're going to send you a medical authorization for you to sign so that they can start searching through your medical records and start finding things in your prior medical records, prior to the accident, that would suggest that you have a pre-existing injury or you have a history of this, or there's a long list of things that they're looking for to try to minimize your case. And in addition, they're going to start their investigation immediately. And so if you don't have somebody representing you that's investigating the case in favor of you or in your best interests, they've got to jump on the case, right? They're going to want to contact the witnesses as soon as possible, ahead of what you do or your attorney does. And if you hire a personal injury attorney, that's our job, is to make sure that your case is being worked up and that the evidence is being acquired, and making sure that the insurance company isn't trying to spin things unfavorable to you. Focusing on recovery. If you've been injured in an accident, the most important piece of this entire process is your recovery. When you hire a personal injury attorney, the hope and goal for you is that that attorney is going to take all those stressors off of you so you can focus on your recovery and try to get back into the fold as quickly as possible. And that's what we want to focus on, is making this as painless as possible for you and as easy as possible for you so you can focus on your recovery and the rest of the things you have going on in your life, and we're going to focus on your personal injury case. Navigating the laws and the regulations. An experienced personal injury attorney will have in-depth knowledge of the laws and regulations related to your personal injury case. That attorney will be able to help you understand your legal rights and the legal options that you have available to you. So I'm going to give you one example of a particular law that, if it's not handled correctly in a personal injury case, could severely affect your claim. And that is the statute of limitations. So let me briefly explain. What that is a law that gives you a certain period of time within which to file a lawsuit. So if you've been injured in an accident, you're pursuing a personal injury claim, and you want to be paid for your pain and suffering and your out-of-pocket costs and expenses and wage loss and whatever else you're pursuing, you have a certain time frame within which to either get your case settled or to file a lawsuit. If that lawsuit's not filed in that time frame, you lose your claim forever. You can't do anything about it. And then to complicate that, there are particular laws outside the statute of limitations that shorten the time frame within which you can pursue a claim, and you have to submit certain notices, for instance, if you have a claim against a governmental body or a municipality and things like that. And so it's going to be critical for you to speak to an experienced personal injury attorney about that to make sure that you are falling within the parameters of those various laws. Saving time and money. Pursuing a personal injury claim can be time-consuming and emotionally draining, and honestly very stressful. By hiring an experienced personal injury attorney, the individual doesn't have all those other stresses. They don't have to spend all the time doing the various things that need to be done. And essentially what happens is when someone hires our law firm, we essentially take over everything. All the individual really has to do at that point is continue to treat. We'll follow up and get updates from you periodically, but really it's just about your treatment until you have gotten to hopefully a spot of full recovery, or if not, to the spot your doctor feels is your utmost potential. Access to resource and experts. An experienced personal injury attorney will have access to a network of resources and experts that can support your case. For example, a medical expert. Sometimes we have to get medical experts involved to be able to prove up the permanency of your injuries or the severity of those injuries. Or we may have to hire a reconstruction expert that can prove liability if there is a dispute as to how the accident happened. Or maybe a life care planner. We work with life care planners to be able to prove up permanency of the damages, what the future expenses are, what future medical treatment will be, and these are all things that help increase the value of your case and support the value of your case. And so these are things that obviously the insurance company is not going to share with you. Assessing the value of your case and negotiating with the insurance company. As previously discussed, the insurance company does not have your best interests in mind, and so they're going to try to figure out how to pay you as little as possible. And unless you have an experienced personal injury attorney that deals with these cases on a day-to-day basis, you're likely not going to know the value. And I can tell you this, Google's not going to give you an accurate understanding of what the value of a case is. There's so many factors that come into play with a personal injury case, that from the amount of treatment you've had, to the severity of the injuries, to whether there's any permanency, the expenses, wage loss, and I can go down a list of 50 things probably. And so ultimately, the value of your case has to be determined. And to obviously maximize what we get from the insurance company, we determine the value. And so then after the value is determined, then there's negotiation that has to take place with the insurance company. And again, the insurance company is going to try to lowball you. If you don't have good representation, what we see oftentimes is that they're offering people $500, $1,000. If they got a pretty bad injury, you might see a few $1,000s. In almost all cases that we've gotten where the insurance company has tried to offer the client something prior to our involvement, in almost all of those cases, they have offered a number that is way, way, way below what the actual value of that case is. Most people aren't trained in knowing the value, but they're also not aware of how to negotiate with the insurance company. And so an important piece of this puzzle is value and negotiation and getting the maximum amount out of the insurance company, which you're entitled to because that's what the law allows for. You to be compensated for your pain and suffering, for your wage loss, for your medical expenses, future medical expenses, etc. Subrogation and liens. Most people don't even know what subrogation is. And to briefly explain, essentially what subrogation is that somebody has paid money on your behalf and they want to be paid back because of the circumstances of an accident and a third party caused your injury. So for instance, your medical insurance paid medical bills that you incurred as a result of this crash. Your medical insurance wants to be paid back for what they paid out of pocket. And so they have a subrogation interest. This can happen through your medical insurance and through your car insurance. And so ultimately what happens in these cases is they want to come back when you get paid out in your settlement, and they want to get their payment back. They can submit a lien to attach to your personal injury case to make sure that they get paid. Or if you have Medicare, for instance, they automatically have a lien on your case. And so there's various subrogation interests that can be through car insurance, Badger Care, Medicare, health insurance, etc. And so in those particular instances, your injury settlement is going to be reduced by that subrogation interest. So if you have, let's just use for an example, your health insurance paid $50,000 of your medical bills, and you have a personal injury case that they want to come and take that $50,000 out of your settlement, that's a lot of money. An experienced personal injury attorney will be able to go and negotiate that subrogation lien in most cases and get it reduced, which ultimately puts more money in your pocket. And there's doctrines of law that are involved, like the made whole doctrine, where that entire lien could be completely eliminated depending upon who the subrogated party is. And so this could mean, tens of thousands of dollars, in some cases hundreds of thousands of dollars. In one particular case, we had a $1.2 million subrogation lien waived for our clients. So these subrogation liens are serious. So if you don't have an experienced personal injury attorney on your team that's going to go fight to reduce those subrogation interests, you potentially could be losing a lot of money in those circumstances. Peace of mind. If you hire an experienced personal injury attorney, you'll have the peace of mind knowing that your legal rights are protected and that you have somebody in your corner that's going to fight for you. Somebody that's going to fight to make sure you get maximum value on your case. That's going to go up against the insurance company and make sure that your case is protected and that you aren't taken advantage of. Somebody that's going to make sure that the appropriate experts have been hired and brought on to make sure that your case is built up in the best way possible. Ultimately looking out for your best interest and trying to put you in the best position to succeed. Maximizing what goes into your pocket at the end of the case. So a lot of people will talk about maximizing compensation, but really at the end of the day, you don't care about the total settlement. You care about what you're going to put in your pocket. That factors in what the attorney fees are going to be, what liens are going to be paid, what medical bills are going to be paid, etc. A good personal injury attorney is going to go and fight to reduce the subrogation liens, which we've already talked about. They're going to fight with the insurance company to put the maximum amount in your pocket that's possible and available, and to file a lawsuit for you if in settlement it can't be reached. A common concern that clients have when deciding whether they should hire a personal injury attorney is they think they're going to get less money because they think that the personal injury attorney is going to put all of the settlement proceeds into their pocket, and ultimately that the client's going to walk away empty-handed or with less than they would have had they not hired an attorney. And that's a totally fair concern. I cannot speak for other personal injury law firms, but with our law firm, that is not a concern. I cannot think of one case of the hundreds that we've handled where a client was offered more before we got involved than what we got the client in their pocket. And that's after we get paid and the liens get paid. When you hire an experienced personal injury attorney, what we want to do is we want to maximize the total value we are able to get from the insurance company and go and minimize what has to be paid out in your case to other individuals, right? Like the subrogation interest I talked about earlier. And so what we want to do is we want to fight to get you as much in your pocket as possible. Now, I wish I could say this is the case for all personal injury attorneys, but unfortunately it's not. See, I don't get any more money in my pocket if I go and negotiate a subrogation interest for you. And so some attorneys lose interest in going and negotiating on those subrogation interests because it doesn't put any more money in the attorney's pocket. We want to serve the best interests of the client. We want to maximize the money we put in the client's pocket. At the end of the day, what I tell my people around here at the office is, if I see one of my clients after a case is over, like if I see them on the street and I walk by them, I want to be able to look them in the eye and know that I did the best possible job that we could do for them at this law firm. We don't get paid anything unless you get paid, and we don't collect any money until you get paid. And so ultimately what that means is that we work on a contingency fee basis. And so you don't have to pay us any retainer fee. You don't have to put any money down. We cover the cost and the expenses of the case. We front all of that. The way this works is that you're hiring us on a contingency. We get paid a percentage of what we are able to recover for you. And that's standard in the state of Wisconsin for personal injury cases. Preparing a case for trial. If you're going to hire a personal injury attorney, you want to make sure you're hiring a law firm that is willing to take your case to trial. There's a lot of law firms out there that are not willing to take a case to trial. They don't work your case up in preparation for trial, and that's super important. At our law firm, we do take cases to trial. Now, 95% of our cases settle because the goal is settlement if you can reach settlement, but if the insurance company isn't willing to pay the value on the case, we have to file and take the case to trial. And so we've had great success at trial too. We have the second largest verdict in the state of Wisconsin for soft tissue, at least at the time it was rendered. We had negotiations that the insurance company only offered $50,000 pre-suit. We took that to trial and we ended up with a verdict from the jury of $565,000. So it's critical that you make sure you hire an attorney that's going to prep your case for trial and is willing to take your case to trial. Overall, hiring an experienced personal injury law firm is going to provide you a number of benefits that are going to help you with your personal injury case and relieve the stress involved with that process. It is our goal and vision here at Pemberton Personal Injury Law Firm to help counsel and protect the injured from corporate greed. If you've been injured in an accident, give us a call. We offer free consultations. Our number is 608-FIGHT-FOR-YOU. We are here to help.